Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Board Game Captain, and I just got back a couple days ago from PAX Unplugged as of recording this video, and I decided I'm going to review the convention of PAX Unplugged. So I'm going to talk about all the ups, I'm going to talk about the downs, and I'm going to talk about whether or not I would recommend you attend PAX Unplugged and why. So now, I'm going to be comparing PAX Unplugged in every category I discuss to Gen Con. And the reason I'm going to do this is for two reasons. One, Gen Con is the convention I have attended the most over the years because I love Gen Con. I'm a big fan of it. It's my favorite convention of all time. Two, it's the most well-attended game convention probably in the world, definitely in North America. So it's got the best chance that you will understand where I'm coming from using Gen Con as a baseline. And three, because, you know, it's Gen Con. It's the biggest convention around. It's something good to compare it to. It's a good baseline to use in general. So here's the thing. Let's start. I'm gonna go down the line. I'm gonna talk about everything. So first thing is size. So PAX Unplugged is a smaller convention than Gen Con. There is a significantly smaller number of people that attend than you would have at Gen Con. But this is a big plus. There's still a lot of people, but generally speaking, in most circumstances, taking up a good amount of space in the Philadelphia Convention Center. It is a large convention center. It feels a bit less crowded, especially on Friday and Sunday. Saturday definitely felt like the most crowded day, but even then, it felt like a light day at Gen Con. You actually, when in the exhibit hall, get a chance to talk to the game designers, the heads of the publishing company, anyone. Whereas a lot of times at Gen Con, you feel like it's too crowded. You can't get a chance to actually even talk to anybody about much. And also, it's much easier to get demos in because of it being less crowded. So that's one area that I'm going to say is a big plus. So next, I'm going to talk about organization. Now, here's the one area I'm going to have some big negatives on for PAX Unplugged. So Gen Con, if you're familiar, allows you to pre-register for all your events ahead of time. That way, you buy a ticket for your event. You know you have the ability to just get in when you show up. And PAX Unplugged does not do this. So PAX Unplugged kind of has like a first come, first serve thing going on. Most of the places where events will be taking place, you can show up first thing in the day and write your name in on a sign-on sheet so you know if there's room or not. You can come back later for that event. Some of the big events, though, you literally just have to wait in line, and lines are not fun. So this is where I'm getting some negative here. Because I wanted to get in on a role-playing game event. They had a big hall where lots of role-playing games were going on, and I was hoping to get in on one on Saturday. When I came in, the line was so long that I decided, you know what, forget it. By the time I get to the front of the line, all the good role-playing games will already be full up, and I'll just be wasting my time. So I didn't play a role-playing game all weekend. So yeah, so this is a problem. Also, I had a couple of issues with the way they were running, entering both the convention center and the Expo hall. So now the Expo hall is where they have all the different companies. The convention center, of course, is where the convention is taking place. When the convention first opened, there was literally one door, one set of doors that was open, one entrance you could use. Later in the day, about an hour later, they opened a second set, but still the most there ever was two sets of doors you could enter because they were limiting people because they were running security. They were checking bags and they were running you through metal detectors. The quality of the security was iffy at best. It didn't even, I mean, I would understand if they were inconveniencing us entering the convention center to make sure for really good security that everybody was safe. But I also really kind of felt like the security was just, it was just okay. A lot of it didn't seem all that great. So that was a bit of an inconvenience too, whereas at Gen Con, all the doors are open. You can come in through any doors, and then they just check your badges as you go into the exhibit hall. Here, they were really, really, really limiting you through, and you had to wait on a bit of a line to get in. And again, I talked to other people, and the general consensus amongst goers that I talked to was that the level of security did not actually make them feel any safer, just made them feel inconvenienced. And then on top of that, when they opened the expo hall, for some reason they only opened one door at first and then opened all the other doors half an hour later. So that, and they were, at least on Sunday when I was waiting right before it opened, they were funneling everybody through like a choke point through a small entrance. And as you were going through it, I said, well, maybe there's something up front. Maybe there's a reason why they're doing this. But there wasn't. There wasn't anything. There seemed to be no real reason to do it. They had people stationed at a bunch of the other doors. They could have just opened the doors and watched people go in anyway. They didn't seem to be counting people. They didn't do... I mean, they'd already made us go through the security, so there's no reason to do it for security reasons. They didn't give any kind of explanation as to why they were doing it that way. And if they had, maybe this wouldn't be on my negatives. But it is. Now, as a counterpoint, though, to the issues, by the way, that I referenced earlier about the fact that there was no pre-registering for events, I do want to throw out that, again, it was much easier to get in on demos here than it is to get in on Gen Con. So I did feel like PAX Unplugged, now this is a positive I want to throw in here as a counterpoint to the negatives of the poor organization, because of it being less crowded while still having a large number, and I do mean a large number of exhibitors there, it was very easy to get in on demos. There were multiple times throughout the weekend while walking around, either alone or with friends, people were like, hey, do you want to try this game? And we were like, sure. And we came over and either played part of or an entire actual game right there in the expo hall or in the demo hall, which is right next door. So that was really, really great. Now, how about the length of the convention? How much time do you get for your money for entering the convention? So now, if you're just going for one day, this is not really a concern because, you know, the length of one day generally is just one day. I mean, it's basically the same. But PAX Unplugged is a little bit shorter than Gen Con. So Gen Con goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a shortened day on Sunday. PAX Unplugged goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All 3 days, the exhibit hall is open the full amount of hours, the full 8 hours, but the actual event time is a little shorter on Sunday. But it's really, normally they go till midnight. On Sunday, it goes till 7 p.m. But the expo hall is 10 to 6 all 3 days. So it's not a full day shorter. I mean, it seems like it would be, but it's actually really partial day shorter because Sunday seems a bit longer at PAX Unplugged than Sunday at Gen Con. So I feel like it's half a day to 3/4 of a day shorter than Gen Con, if that makes sense. So it is a little bit less time. That being said, I think it's, especially if you're local, it's even more cost effective to jump in and just do one day. Because in one day you can see the whole exhibit hall and you can try some demos and really have a good time and buy some stuff. And it's very affordable for one day. So pricing. PAX Unplugged is $70 for your full weekend pass. That's all 3 days. But it is $35 for a one-day pass on any of the days. And if you have kids, it's only $10 for one-day Sunday pass for the kids. That's very affordable when you compare to Gen Con's current prices, where Gen Con's current 4-day pass is $110. Thursday or Friday is $60 for one day. Saturday is $75 for one day, which I mean is how much the full 3-day pass is for PAX Unplugged. And it's $15 for the shorter day of Sunday. So the big numbers to compare here are the full weekend passes. PAX Unplugged is only $70 for your full weekend passes to Gen Con's $110. Now, Gen Con is bigger, there's a lot more going on, and they put a lot more into their organization, so I understand why it's more expensive. But if you're looking for a more affordable, also pretty large convention, then PAX Unplugged actually kind of wins out in this category. Because $70 is quite affordable to get in for the full 3 days. And if you can only do one day, $35 is crazy affordable. $35 for Friday or Saturday just to come in for the whole day, no truncated hours at all, per person. And you literally can do, like I say, the whole expo hall in one day. $35 is great. That's a really, really fantastic price. So, okay, so I've gone through some ups, I've gone through some downs. How was it actually at the con? It was amazingly fun. There was lots to do. It also felt much more laid back than Gen Con. I talked to a lot of people about this. I met a lot of friends there. It was quieter. There were areas where people were just sitting down and playing games. There were areas people could get kind of away from the hustle and bustle that there was at the convention to decompress a little bit. They treated people very well. Everybody seemed to, even the security, even though it was a little bit of an inconvenience, they were all very nice and cordial. There were no real problems. I didn't hear anybody saying they were mistreated. Everything was very laid back, very chill, very cool atmosphere. And if you're looking for a convention to do during the holiday season, maybe to buy some holiday gifts for the gamers in your life, this is a great convention. Yeah, there were some negatives, but you know what? Nothing is perfect. And those negatives were not enough to detract me away from recommending this convention to you. Because this convention was awesome. I had a blast. Number one, would I go to this convention as a member of the press again? The answer is yes, absolutely. Number two, if I stopped being a member of the press, would I buy tickets to go to this convention and just have fun? And the answer is still yes. It's a resounding yes. This convention was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed myself. I actually think it skyrocketed into being one of my top 5 conventions I have gone to in my entire life. It was tons of fun. Really enjoyable. Even with the downsides. I would recommend, if you're local, at least check it out for one day next year, because then, you know, you could know if you want to do a full weekend pass the year after. But if you're looking to buy a flight that's not too expensive, and you either have friends to stay with, or you can get a chip in with some people for a hotel room and it's not too expensive for you, and you can afford to go, you should not be disappointed in PAX Unplugged. PAX Unplugged was tons of fun. You had more than at least half, probably more than half, number-wise, of the number of people in the expo hall that you would have in the exhibit hall at Gen Con. For a convention that's only really about a third the size of Gen Con, that was a lot of companies showing up. Everybody had time to talk to you. It was very laid back, very cool, very fun, very enjoyable, and I would definitely recommend PAX Unplugged to you. How about you? Have you been to PAX Unplugged? Have you also been to Gen Con? How would you compare the two? I'm going to give, you know what? I'm going to give PAX Unplugged a number rating. I'm going to give it an 8 stars out of 10 because it is fantastic. It was really fun. Where would you rate PAX Unplugged? How have you been to previous years? How do you feel it's been changing organization-wise and such over the years? Because, you know, this is a newer convention. There are many PAXs, and they've been around for a long time, but PAX Unplugged has only been around for a few years now. There could be plenty of time for them to adjust how they organize it and improve in the future, and this could definitely work its way up to being even one of my very, very favorite conventions of all time. What do you guys think? Comment in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review of a convention and you'd like to see me review more conventions that I attend, be sure to give this video a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And hit that little bell icon on my channel so you get alerts every time I upload a new video. And until next time, game on.